Just gotta get in the YouTube zone, you know, you gotta get the juices flowing. What's up guys, welcome to today's YouTube video. So today we're gonna be talking about how to get big 3D looking shoulders. Now, the first thing I wanna touch on is the three main heads of the shoulder. So we have the rear delt, medial delt, and the front delt. The medial delt is the side of the shoulder, so that's what makes you look bigger, like you're going to appear much wider. So my first tip is, if you've been training shoulders for a while and you usually start with overhead presses, you're kind of stuck at a plateau. I want you to flip the switch and I want you to start with rear delts and then medial delts and then front delts. The rear delts and the medial delts, like I was explaining, they give the shoulder that really 3D, broad, like massive sort of look. Most guys, myself included, have more dominant front delt, and now that's for years of like bench pressing, dumbbell pressing, push-ups. You know, we do a lot of pressing movements, so the front delt is going to naturally get bigger and the rear delt is going to lack. So even if you have decent rear delts, if they're not as big as your front delts, you're not going to have 3D looking shoulders. They're going to kind of look a little bit disproportionate. Not only is that bad for like how they look, but it's also not good for posture as well. My second tip is going to be to train shoulders frequently. So if you're only hitting shoulders once a week at the moment, I want you to go to twice a week and then possibly even 3 times a week. And that doesn't mean you're just blasting your shoulders for an hour. You know, you can put these into say a push workout, but you need to increase the frequency of how many times you hit your shoulders per week. So increase those sets, increase the reps, get more volume in on the shoulders. My last tip for shoulders is going to be hit them with a big variety of rep ranges. Now I find shoulders respond really well to heavy weight, but they also respond really well to lots and lots of reps, sets, lots of volume, lots of blood in the shoulders. So let's say you do your heavy presses, even though I just said do rear delts first, but let's say you do your heavy presses and then, you know, you could have one day that's like heavier, maybe 6 to 10 reps, and then on your second shoulder day, it could be nothing below 15. If you've never tried it before, definitely give it a try. I also found that was a big help in growing my shoulders. Okay, I don't just want to leave you with those tips. I also want to leave you with some of my favorite exercises to grow the shoulders. So we're going to start with the rear delts. The first exercise going on screen now is going to be the reverse pec deck. Now, if you don't have a reverse pec deck, you can just do a reverse cable fly, or going into my second favorite exercise for rear delts is going to be a reverse dumbbell fly. Now, there's lots of ways to do these. Honestly, there is no there's no best, there's no worst. It's whatever you feel in the rear delts the most, because I know a lot of people when they train shoulders, their traps take over when they're trying to hit their rear delts. So find that exercise. For me, it's the reverse pec deck. I feel like that is great. I can keep it like basically all in my rear delts, can go heavy, I can do lots of reps, and for me that just works. So you need to find what works for you. My last one is your standard face pull. Now face pull, you are going to hit a lot of traps, but if you do seated face pulls, you can go quite heavy. You can overload the whole traps and rear delt region quite nicely. And an extra one for you guys, if you've never tried these, I learned these from John Meadows. He's a bodybuilding king. Heavy rear delt swings. It's basically a partial range of motion. For example, if I do rear delt flies with 10 kilos, I'm gonna grab at least 30 kilos. And basically you're gonna lie down on an incline bench. You're gonna keep your arms straight, so you're gonna reach towards the floor, and then you're just gonna swing out with your rear delts as much as possible and then come back in. Now, even though it's called a rear delt swing, these are controlled, partial, 1/3 of the range sort of motion. These help my rear delts grow quite a lot, because as I was saying before, you have to do something that you haven't done before. So I was quite used to, you know, everything I did for rear delts was like 10 kilos, 7.5, you know, it wasn't super heavy. So when he taught me these and I learned these, I put them in for a few months, I got great rear delt results. Okay, moving on to the medial delts, so the side of the shoulder. Again, this is one of the most important parts. You got your standard dumbbell lateral raises. Now obviously these are just a staple. I think they should be in your program all the time. They're great. But like I said, use a lot of different rep ranges. You know, you don't always just have to do 10 to 12, you know, do some heavy lateral raises. If you've got good form, like take them down to 6 to 8 reps. Why not? Bump them up 20 to 30 reps. Why not? You need to change it up. My second favorite for the medial delt is cable lateral raise. I personally like to do these between the legs, as it draws a very nice line straight down the center of your body. And I also like to lean away from the cables a little bit. These are so good because the cable keeps constant tension, whereas the dumbbell doesn't. So you're gonna have tension on your medial delt the entire time you're doing this movement, and that's great for growth. My third favorite for the medial delts are Y raises. Now Y raises is basically where we lie on like a 45-degree bench, take everything else out of the movement, gonna have to go a bit lighter on these if you've never done before, and you're just dragging out into a Y, and I find that kind of motion, that Y raise hits the medial delts very, very good. Another extra one for the medial delts is similar to the rear delt swings, heavy partial reps. If you've never tried these before, they're an absolute killer. So again, grab like double, maybe even triple what you would usually use for a lateral raise. You're just gonna stand rock solid, and then you're just gonna swing out. It's a controlled swing though. You're not moving your body, you're just moving your arms, and you're just basically squeezing the sides of your shoulders as hard as you can. I love putting these at the end or at the start of a lateral raise, and it will blow your medial delts right up. So give that a try. So your front delts. Now your front delts, I just like to keep it simple. I like your barbell overhead presses. I like your heavy dumbbell presses. And personally, I don't really do many front raises, but front raises, if I was gonna do them, it'll be on the cables with a rope. Again, cables, because it's constant tension the whole time. So there's tension on that front delt through the entire range of motion. Whereas when you use dumbbells, the hardest part is like at the top here. As you get lower and lower, it's easier. So that's why I would pick cables if I was gonna do a front raise. The reason why I don't really do front raises is because I do a lot of pressing in my program. So a lot of overhead pressing, a lot of bench pressing, dumbbell pressing. So the front delt gets hit quite a lot as it is. And like I was saying, for 99% of guys and girls that I've met and trained with, their front delts are a lot more predominant than their rear delts. I try to put more focus onto the rear and side, and that's what's going to give you that 3D look. So just to quickly recap that, you want to hit your shoulders more often than you're currently doing, so hit them with more frequency, so 2 to 3 times a week at least. You want to do a mixture of heavy weight and also high reps. But when I say high reps, guys, I don't mean like pick the lightest, pink fluffy dumbbells you can find. Pick a weight where you will be failing around. The next thing was to hit your rear delts first if you've never done that before. So rear delts, medial delts, front delts. And the last thing was to try some of these exercises if you never have. I'm telling you, these heavy partial reps, John Meadows taught me, game changer, okay? Give them a try, guys. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, all the good stuff. And yeah, blow up those shoulders. Peace.